You are live, and you are live. We're live multiple places. We're live all over the place right now. Whether it's Facebook, Twitter, X, or YouTube, we're glad you're hanging out with us tonight. Here in the Arctic Air studio, we got you, half hour give or take. Depends on how good the commentary and the comments are today. Handing out those Raiderland Helmet Stickers brought to you by Domino's Pizza. It is Monday night. That means Monday Night Football, the Seahawks and the New York Football Giants doing battle on a gridiron for gridiron-like supremacy tonight in a game that really nobody wants to watch. But it's a great excuse to get your Domino's app out and get some great Domino's pizza. Also brought to you by Lives West in Red River, New Mexico. Yes, the fall is upon us now. The wonderful change into the colors, Aspencade. They got Oktoberfest coming up. So many different reasons to head out there to Red River and give my man Billy a shout out there at Lives West. Damon says the talking box is on. We couldn't agree more. The talking box is on. We'll talk about Texas Tech football, the National Football League, Big 12, NIL, and high school sports. NIL and high school sports. Should your Texas high school football players be able to make money off NIL? Well, you've got breaking news from around the country on that front. So all that, plus your great questions and comments today is the early arrivals. You know what to do. Let us know the audio is good, the video is good. Give us thumbs up and things of that sort. And, you can share this with your friends if you want to. You can do that as well. You can get us on the United Supermarkets text line, 806-772-0197. That's 806-772-0197. You got to use the 806 or it goes to a guy who will not respond to you and he doesn't like talking sports. We found that out the old-fashioned way back on the radio show. All right, I think we're good to go. Let's make it happen tonight in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, the Raiderland.com. You start your morning every day there. Our question of the day waiting for you. Usually hot links, but man, back in WordPress was being really cranky last night, this morning on being able to link stuff up. We'll see what the problem is, but it didn't want us to link to anything. So we were hot linkless today. I'll try to have you some hot links in the morning. I apologize. I'll do something, by gosh. We'll have something there for you that'll be interesting. I don't care what I got to do. Well, we'll create something for you. We are here in the Arctic Air studios. You know what to do if your air is too Arctic this winter. You call the bear. This is a good time also to get them out there for the old well check, the service check, and find out, is this thing going to be able to get through another fall and winter season? That's why you contact the bear. We mentioned Domino's Pizza. They're waiting for you, Domino's.com. And, of course, Lives West. All right, let's see. Where do we want to start tonight? Let's start by having a little sip of beverage. Product placement. Oh, smooth. Can Texas Tech win with this offense going forward? The offense that you saw against Houston Saturday afternoon, the offense that put up 49 points minus 2 special teams touchdowns, the offense that produced 2 100-yard rushers in the same game in a conference game for the first time since 1998. With Cameron, every time I say Valdez, I want to say Exxon Valdez. For some reason, I would call him Exxon, and nobody would know why. Like, nobody would get it. I'd be the only one calling him Exxon. So I've resisted the urge over the last couple of years to call him Exxon. But anyhow, is this the winning formula? Can you win with this? You've got a pick'em game coming up against Baylor Saturday night there in Waco. You have the Kansas State game now is officially set for 6 o'clock coming up in 2 weeks. And then we still don't know about BYU. They're on the 21st. 21st? No. Yeah, 21st. Okay, yeah, double checking on that. Is this the winning formula? Baron Morton's going to be your quarterback going forward. The good news this week on Baron Morton is that they expect him to be able to throw the ball a little bit more in practice. That for as little as he threw the ball last week and really no live throwing during practice, working with the offense, doing offensive things, but just not getting a chance to have a lot of timing with the receivers because of the shoulder bang up, they expect him to be able to do much more of that this week. Did that inadvertently or advertently deliver the game plan of success to Zach Kittley and to Joey McGuire? That maybe the idea that you had a young quarterback making his, what was that, his 4th start, who hadn't really been able to throw and get much timing with the receivers, that maybe that said, maybe we should probably run the ball, take a little pressure off him. Hey, look at this. It's working. It's working. Either way, you'd like to think, and judging from the comments today at the press conference from both head coach Joey McGuire and Zach Kittley, that they like what they saw. Now, it's still an offense of take what the defense gives. It is still an offense that is predicated on light box run, heavy box pass. And truly, aren't we all, when it gets down to it? But I'd like to think that maybe they go back and they look at this and go, that we can be this team. We can be this team offensively, and we can be good, and we can do this, and we can win games, and we can beat people, and we can help the defense out. There was a lot of random stuff comes up at the Monday press conferences. Reporters will latch on to different things and different topics, and it wasn't like it was orchestrated or anything, but the time of possession thing came up, and Texas Tech, I believe, is underwater. TOP in every game. I felt like I was living in the early mid 2000s again, and Mike Leach and the old time of possession. What does that really mean? Do you need time of possession or not? And Joey McGuire went Joey Lytics a little bit and threw out the EPA. That basically is an analytical stat, but what he did, he was justifying the run game, and it was actually a complimentary thing on the run game about how, if they go back and they look at their analytics, that their EPA goes up when they run the ball. When they're successful running, EPA goes, so EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, has used your hard-earned tax dollars to formulate a very deep mathematical equation for college football coaches. This is part of the Joe Biden Green Deal initiative that the EPA now is doing, apparently. I've done a deep dive on this. Don't try to contradict me. And basically it boils down to EPA being that you analyze a play, and after said play, wait for this, depending on the outcome of the said play, your expected points added for that drive could go up or they could go down. So the Environmental Protection Agency has figured out that with a good play, your EPA on the drive might get better, that you might go from, we're not going to get anything, we just ran the ball for 9 yards, it's 2nd and 1, we could get a field goal, to we could get from a field goal to a touchdown, to we could get super slush fund money. Or if you have a bad play, that during that drive, and again, hyper intense study here, that bad plays reduced your expected points at the end of the drive. People are getting paid thousands and thousands of dollars to come up with stuff like this. If it doesn't work, Kittley will just throw the players under the bus for his play calling. Has he done that, Craig? Are we seeing players being thrown under the bus? Craig is lobbing hand grenades. Is Zach Kittley? Have you turned on Zach Kittley? Is he mean to the players? So, when they run the ball effectively and you run the ball effectively and you run it really good, the stats tell you that you're probably going to have a good outcome. So, is this what we need to see out of the offense? I lean towards it. You've got a really good back in Taj Brooks. You've got a really good complementary back in Valdez. How about more of it? Dallas, that's a city and a person. At the end of the first half, we were snapping the ball with 22 seconds left on the play clock, which gave UH time to almost get a field goal. Does clock management concern you? Clock management always concerns me. You were down there. You ended up getting down there. I'd have to go back and look at the play-by-play sheet. I don't know that it was that high on the play clock, but it was still a little bit high. But yeah, we were joking at the time, joking in the press box about you're leaving too much time. You're leaving too much time. You almost did. Chris says Kittley has never pointed a finger at players. Well, so a commenter just said he's going to throw the players under the bus, and it sounds painful. Absolutely, this offense can win you a game this weekend. Randy's watching. It's amazing to watch Taj turn a loss of yards into moving the change. Yeah, and he was dead right a couple of times and made it happen for you. Go back. Yes, I'm glad you still have your boots on. And waiting on Craig to produce the players under the bus quotes. Off the United Supermarkets text line, wishing a happy butt week to all that celebrate. That's BU versus TT. Butt game, the butt bowl. It's very funny. The kids like it. But, back in the day, we probably would have made some T-shirts and, all worn them around all week. Happy butt week. It's butt week. He said butt. Butt. Pick'em game, 59.5 on the total. Very interesting. Yeah, it doesn't hurt. You'll get a couple of players back. Good news on Rabbit. They expect him to be back going back to the back end of your defense, which had a lot of young guys. I like Mondays because on Mondays, everybody's had a chance to come back from the game, players, coaches, and idiots in the media alike, and have a little bit of time to kind of sift through some things and go through it. And one of the things in the immediacy of the game that we talked about on Raiderland Rewind, brought to you by Thacker Jewelry in Lubbock, Texas, that was immediately on top of mind for people is what did the defense do better? What was the adjustment? And I said, well, really, I don't think there wasn't a whole lot of adjustment. It's just you tackled. You tackled better. You did what you do better. Well, Tim DeRuiter today, and he's there every Monday, just like Zach Kidley, kind of alluded to that right off the bat. Somebody kind of asked a very similar question. So first thing he said, tackled better. They had 18 missed tackles. I think that's being kind. I don't know how they characterize a missed tackle. If 3 guys miss at once, is that 1 missed tackle or is that 3 missed tackles? I mean, first drive, you had double digits in guys who were in position to make a play and not make a play. So they actually did that better as the game went on. He did mention, though, that one of the things they did do is they kind of went back to day one install stuff. By that, we mean stuff you put in day one for your defense that you know inside and out. He said he probably put the younger guys, specifically that were on the field defensively, in some positions where they just hadn't had enough reps at it, that they just weren't really ready for that in game time to be able to execute it the way they needed to do it. And there were some run fits and there were some back and eye fits that weren't so good, but that he said, he kind of went to some day one stuff. And the casual way to say this is base, went to base defense. It's played a base defense. What'd you do? Played base defense. What's base defense? There is no base defense. But they went to day one stuff, simplified it a little bit. And really kind of what that does for a player is it just allows you to line up and not just not think, but you don't have to worry so much about getting lined up. When you spend 20 of the 30 seconds you've got just trying to get lined up, you're not thinking about what you need to do. So all that came in. Does Baylor have a lot of injuries or are they just down? They're just down. They got Shapen back, their quarterback. He'd been out for a little bit. Sawyer Robertson, the Coronado kid who'd gone to Mississippi State, transferred, filled in, 2.5 games? Can't remember. Shapen back this past week really helped their offense out. They lost an NFL defensive lineman. They've lost a ton of athletes over the last 2 years, and they're not nearly as fast as they have been. I like to see them move away from the tempo all the time. I think the offense flows better. I'm with you. The fascination with numbers of plays, and you don't have to go run up to the ball of scrimmage. Thank you, everybody. I'm out here. I'm going to go watch it rain. You don't have to run up to the ball on the line of scrimmage fast to have tempo. Part of what tempo is to keep the defense from substituting, to make them run the packages they've got on the field, match your package. And we've got too many packages, I think, in college football, but that's a topic for another time. You can achieve that without having to run around like your hair is on fire. I agree that tempo for tempo's sake is not worth it. Pretty impressive win over UCF. Hopefully they're emotionally spent. Yeah. what was it, Jones, one of their linebackers was puking his guts out late, Dave Aranda said. And then he looked up mid blowing chunks and said, we're going to win this game. Those are my kind of guys right there. Those are dudes. Biggest comeback in Baylor history, 26 points in the fourth. Yeah, hopefully so. Will I be guest hosting the Chad Hasty show anytime soon? No, Michael, I'm afraid I'm not allowed to do that anymore. Would enjoy it, but apparently there's a problem up there with me and Hasty. Probably want to ask Chad about that. I don't know. Yeah, you won't be seeing me anytime on the Chad Hasty show. David is watching. Did I miss anybody rolling through there? Be in town this weekend for number 2 son's official visit. Where do we, including first son, where do we, including the senior tech, go to watch the game? Oh yeah, it's a road game. Man, there are a lot of good places. Depends on whether you want pure sports bar, non-sports bar. A lot of places around campus are a lot of fun. I mean, you know, I ask the kids where they want to go. Would be kind of what I would do. Does it surprise me that the new Big 12 teams are struggling? No, it doesn't surprise me at all. They're playing up in competition for the most part. Yeah, Caprock's good, either location. You got some Wild Wings out there. It's not a sports bar, but it's a little higher end, a little nicer, but they will have the game on with the sound on. You can go to the Reserve. You can go to Gators Bayou. I mean, there are a lot of different. Again, I would ask your friends, hey, where do these kids want to go and everything else? Hyatt needs to host the Hasty show. He and one Chad Hasty are the only ones with the guts to tackle tough questions and talk Texas history, like the Battle of Gonzales that occurred today. Come and take it. That's right. Today it is. I'm glad you mentioned. I'm glad the texter on the United Supermarkets text line mentioned that. Because I totally glossed over it in my. It's Monday and I'm in Monday mode and everything else. And we go, yeah, that's right. Which they were pretty sure they found the Gonzales cannon. You know, the story goes that they hit it, they buried it, they hit it, they dug it back up and everything else. And then there was a lot of discussion that, whichever cannon that they were claiming to be the Gonzales cannon, while similar to the era, probably not the actual cannon that we were dealing with. At one point, I think Phil Collins had that as part of his collection. I think I've got that right. For those who don't know, Phil Collins, yes, that Phil Collins, Studio, huge collector of Texas Revolution history artifacts and otherwise, and with some conditionality, donated them to the state of Texas and everything else a couple of years ago. Pretty neat stuff. Come and take it. And then they proceeded to try to do just that, and it was on. So, yeah. Oh, to be in 7th grade again, taking Texas history. I assume they still do that in 7th grade. Do we still do Texas history in 7th grade? All right, get your Raiderland helmet stickers out. Who deserves helmet stickers this week for being awesome? You guys can get in on the text line if you're on Twitter, if you're on YouTube. That's the only way we're going to see your comments during the course of the proceedings, thanks to our wonderful friends there at United Supermarkets, 806-772-0197. Twin Sisters, state of Ohio, Cincinnati, firing strong there. Cincinnati, Ohio, sent on down. Great win by Texas. Craig, another loss, and I was thinking Tito's would find its way into my cup. I'm not a big vodka kind of guy, you know? And how did Tito's end up like in everything over the last 10 years? From nothing to everything. Without looking it up, the name of Gonzales mascot, or should I save the question for Craig Wade? He'd be better off doing it than me. I'm not going to be able to get it. It'd be kind of cool if it was 32 men, but that would be probably lost in history and everything else. You know, what is the mascot for Gonzales? Really? Is it? Ugh. Never had any more than a dozen Apaches that far south in the first place. Any update on the Under Armour clothing contract for Tech Athletics? No, other than I guess all the bids are in for the most part, more or less, I would think. Under Armour, by contract, has a right to match. What we don't know for sure under the contract is whether Texas Tech has to accept the match. That they are given the right to come back and amend, and this is not unusual in contracts and even in state, that they are able to come back and amend their request for bid RFP, and try to match, obviously. But I don't now, as it was explained to me, Tech's not under any obligation to just, they have to accept that. You know, Kansas State just took a lower deal with Nike that I believe came in under the bid of, I want to say Adidas. Adidas obviously has Kansas. I think they were trying to get Kansas State. Kansas State stayed with Nike even if it was under the bid. I think you have to do it. In other words, Tech is a restricted or unrestricted free agent. There you go. A good way of putting it. I would think, though, we'd probably get some resolution to that sometime during football season and everything else. Everybody seems to have an opinion on it. If you're going to have a Mahomes line and he's going to be the face of the NFL, sliding down, killing people who had the Chiefs last night, trying to cover 8, you can do worse, you know? I think it'd be kind of cool. A little different direction. Just change it up a little bit. I got nothing against Under Armour. I've interviewed Kevin Plank a couple of times. He seems like a really good guy, you know? Do you know who that guy was who was wearing the Tech jacket in Taylor Swift's Suite last night? I do. Yes. We were told that Gonzalez plays in District 12 4A Division II with the likes of the Cuero Gobblers. My cousin coached there. LaGrange Leopards and the Smithville Tigers. Smithville, loosely based the town from the movie Hope Floats with Harry Connick Jr. and Sandra Bullock. Yeah, I know who the guy is who was there. Will Lubbock have a impromptu Taylor Swift concert against Kansas State? Loved seeing the Tech jacket in the pictures from the game yesterday. Well, no, it was the Taylor Swift appearance where the Chiefs got to perform in between the Taylor Swift appearances. Anybody buying that, by the way? You guys really buying that her and Travis Kelce are a thing? Is this just beautiful marketing? Is it just beautiful marketing? The guy, he's not a kid. He's a friendship graduate who became friends with QB1, Patrick Mahomes, while they were at Texas Tech, and they're really good friends. And there you go. That's who he is. Friendship native, or Wolfworth native, I should say. Friendship, and that's who that is. Summit Hogue. I mean, I feel weird, like not outing him, but yeah, Summit Hogue is who that is. And I can't remember whether he's married to a former Tech cheerleader or Palm girl, or I can't remember. One or the other. Lynn says it's marketing. Not buying it. I think it's brilliant marketing on both parts. I think this is completely cooked up. Probably funded by George Soros, if I were guessing. You know? Aren't all relationships a type of marketing from a guy's perspective? Yes. Good marketing last night. 3-hour infomercial for the Taylor Swift movie. Yep. 100%. There were either 2 or 3 TV ads that were thrown in there. 28 million viewers on Sunday Night Football. If only Sunday Night Football could live up to the open there with Carrie Underwood. And it's still not as good as the old Monday Night Football, all my rowdy friends are coming over and everything else. But you get all ramped up, and then it's that broadcast crew, and you're like, oh, man, it is late. Monday's coming early. I know it's a 5-point game, and if you've got the Jets +8, you really don't need to. I'm just trying to stay awake here. Michael, I'm not. It's marketing. The Deadpool and the Wolverine guy was there with the director as well. Off the United Supermarkets text line, Tay-Tay needs inspiration for her next hit, so I totally think it's legit. See, apparently, the whole Taylor Swift Kelsey farce is to promote the COVID jab Kelsey's hawking. Will Taylor Swift or the vax break his heart first? Nicely done. I'll get to that, Chris, in just a second because that gets a helmet sticker from me. Hey, Mickey, good to see you pop up on there, man. Hope your world's good. Yeah. I just it's so boring. The crew is so boring, and there we are on Sunday night. Helmet sticker. The Toy Story NFL broadcast, ESPN Plus yesterday. I don't know how many of you guys watched it. Long story short, they took that London game yesterday with the Falcons and the Jaguars, and they showed it on ESPN Plus, but in animated form, as like it was taking place from Andy's room in the Toy Story deal. Slinky Dog was the chain. He'd stretch out for however many yards. It was all animated in real time. I didn't know what to expect, and I kept showing my wife on my laptop. I said, "You got to look at this. Watch this." Like if my son, who's not 4 now, obviously, it would be wrong for him to play high school football if he were 4 years old. I'm like, for real, 5-year-old kid would be watching this. Dad would be watching this. Mom and dad would be watching it. Brilliant marketing on the part of the NFL, but it was interesting. I watched it. I still had it queued up on my laptop last night, and I went back just to watch some of the open in the first half and everything. And I wasn't familiar with Duke Kaboom, but I was rooting for him at halftime. It is Evel Knievel. It was great. TV crew was the Joe Buck crew of the upcoming NFL playoffs. Joe Buck, in his wonderful memoir, Joe Buck Yourself, made a blowout game compelling. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many people watched it again. And I wish in my circle of friends, we don't have a lot of, people, friends or whatever that got like little kids anymore, unless they're grandkids now. You know who you people are. Good Lord. What'd you do? Have your first kids when you're like 16? Anyhow, so I don't know how many people with kids saw it to get a deal, but it was really interesting. Off the United Supermarkets text line, how is Chris Collinsworth still on TV? Didn't you get into some Me Too stuff years ago? Everybody did. I mean, I don't know if he did or not specifically, but somebody probably complained about something. Most people just complain because he's Chris frickin' Collinsworth. So yeah, that gets a Raiderland helmet sticker. Ludwig Aberg gets a helmet sticker. The Euros blowing out the Americans at the Ryder Cup. Damn, the thing was over before I even got to watching it on Friday for the most part. I mean, literally by 7:30, 7:45, when I go, oh man, we need to turn that on, get that going. Get the TV warmed up. Let the tubes warm up on the TV so we can warm up the TV and watch something. You guys think I'm kidding. The thing was already over. NIL. Let's finish with NIL tonight. How many of you guys think high school players should benefit from name, image, and likeness? High school athletes getting money just like college athletes via NIL. Name, image, and likeness. How do y'all feel about that? Craig, helmet sticker to the 2023 Rookie of the Year, C.J. Stroud in the Houston Texans. Hadn't been 500 this late in the season since 19. Can we get the artificial intelligence John Madden to call a game? Forget Toy Story. How about this? We animate it, and then we have Frank Caliendo do both John Madden and Pat Summerall. Did you see the one he did last week? Caliendo did. Travis Kelce. Who's that woman? Hey, I think that's Taylor Swift. That's Tay-Tay. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Caliendo still the best when he does the Madden and Summerall. The best one is Madden and Summerall, and the woman pulls up to the gas pump, and it's on the wrong side of the car. Tank's on the wrong side. She pulls around, and it's still on the wrong side. She's going to pull around again, John. It's still on the wrong side. You got to go back. Go look at that one. It's the funniest one. Georgia today becomes the 34th state in the United States of America to legalize NIL for high school athletes. Texas, one of those that doesn't do it. There's a few in the Southeast that are fairly prominent that don't do it. Where would you be? And I could be wrong in assuming this. I believe that would fall under the University Interscholastic League, although it was the legislature who created the NIL wording for college athletes, so it might come down to the legislature. So Georgia, one of 34 states now that allows NIL. It would be too late for my son to benefit, although it'd be really cool to get him hooked up with some NIL right now if anybody wants to do that. Under the table illegally, of course. Yes, to NIL for high school athletes. Southlake probably missed out on a state championship when Ewers set out his senior year. Of course, he was just one of many compelling players, and I can't remember if they went to the semifinals or what that next year without him. You know, they were pretty good. Caliendo doing Donald Trump, awesome. Yeah, his Donald Trump and his John Gruden kind of end up sounding like a little bit at times. Alert Texter says Georgia is the first to pass legislation for NIL dollars to run through universities too. Yeah, that, and really theirs was actually one of the more restrictive ones, initially trying to funnel it not through the athlete but through the university. It got clarified legally as it went on. And now that has been changed, but their initial one was trying to really clamp down, control it through the school. Then that changed as it went through. We'll never have any problem with any player of any age benefiting from their play on the field. Amen. Bruce Arians was awesome. Yes. Helmet sticker to your wife just because it's from you. Aw, look at it. Either way, my guess would be the state of Texas would be one of the last ones to legalize NIL at the high school level, much like it'll be one of the last states to legalize sports wagering, brick and mortar and otherwise, within the friendly confines of the Lone Star State. There will be many reasons why all of that happens. NIL is one of the best deals we've ever had. The athletic director at Mississippi State, I want to say, talking this weekend about how this, oh yeah, we 100% green, white, checkered, man. We ain't even slowing down. The advertised distance, we're blowing right by that. To say it's one of the biggest game changers and biggest things that'll allow them to compete going forward, and you couldn't be more right. It's wonderful. Transfer portal, great for a school like Tech. NIL, great for a school like Tech. It's up to Tech to maximize it and utilize it. They'll legalize pot before they legalize NIL and gambling, and I don't think they're going to legalize pot anytime soon. Or whatever the nomenclature is of the day. Legalize, decriminalize, or otherwise destigmatize the wacky tobacco cannabis. Raiderland Helmet Sticker to the Rangers, even though they'll lose the first two games against Tampa. Yeah, they Rangered hard. And I was surprised today to see a lot of anti-Bruce Bochy stuff. And Bochy hurt him. Bochy, are you guys, not you guys, but the people, are you guys like insane? A huge improvement through major injuries. The mere fact that they had a shot to win the division even on the last day. Oh, well. Maybe I'm just such an old Ranger fan, I'm conditioned to expect that was what was going to happen, and that it took all the way to the end, made it more exciting. Baseball, fall ball starting today. Yeah, practice getting going. Did they practice today, or did they just get everybody together? The media got to see the new digs, though not allowed to take any video evidence of it. And they also, get some clarification on the staff there. Nobody leaving, but you bring up John Hader. You got Gutierrez going to director of ops, so third assistant, all that stuff. Good. Rangers did better than the Cubs. Yeah. So that's what you say now. Rangers did better than the Cubs. I really think going back to the NIL, I think most people would 100% absolutely support high school athletes being able to make money off name, image, and likeness. Oh, but it'll be fraught with peril and danger. Yeah, so we'll live with it. Well, it might lead to recruiting. Yeah, that doesn't happen in high school at all. That hadn't gone on in the state of Texas since the 1920s. No, not at all. I feel the Rangers are ahead of schedule. Yeah, way ahead of schedule. That had this team been just even, a plus or minus 500 and you're showing signs, I would have thought that would have been, just really good. Helmet stickers. Oh yeah. One more helmet sticker. All right, Tim Wakefield, the great knuckleballer, the lost art of pitching, absolutely. Former Red Raider Josh Bard ended up with the Red Sox for about 45 minutes, and he basically got traded because he couldn't catch Tim Wakefield. There's your Texas Tech connection to that. And they sent him back. I think he ended up either going back to the Padres or going to Seattle at that point. Could there be a rule similar to child actors making money for high school? Well, perhaps you would have some different rules on age. Emily Jones has a podcast called The Mom Gang. They talk a lot of little red-shoed Rangers. Do they? Well, I'm not surprised there. What does Emily know about sports? She's a girl. She's been pregnant twice. What does Emily think she knows about sports? That's cute. Talking sports. A girl. Yeah, there. You would put in some guardrails for the minor and all that sort of stuff and everything. Yeah, Tim Wakefield, 57. Can I remember when he started throwing that with the Pirates? I think it was with the Pirates when he first debuted it, and there was just nobody really throwing the knuckleball. Actually, it's not the dry. That's the Arctic Air. Sounds like a dryer, unless it's your dryer. But probably if you're hearing something in the office, that's the AC that cranks up. It is just like in the radio. It's funny, just like in the radio studios, where somebody thought it'd be really a good idea. Let's make the AC the loudest we can make it in the two talk studios that are on the most. FMX, any of those, whatever. Yeah, they cue the mic for 30 seconds. Ha ha, funny bit. Yeah. Hey, and back to the music. Now we got to talk for 20 minutes at a time, and they drown you out with that. Brilliant stuff up there at the radio station. They wonder why I'm not allowed back up there. Why did the knuckleball disappear? Nobody could hit it. Nobody could throw it. And you got fewer and fewer people now to teach it. It has become a, what is that, vicious cycle? Or circle? Self-fulfilling prophecy? It's a problem because there aren't that many people around now to be able to effectively teach it. And then one day it'll show up again, and it'll be huge again. Jared, umpired baseball for a while. Lots of fun to throw a knuckleball back to an unsuspecting pitcher after a foul ball. Yeah, that'd mess him up. I grew up with a guy who threw a really, really good knuckleball, and we couldn't play catch unless I was wearing a cup. It was cool. It was really cool. And I can throw a really good knuckleball. I can throw a knuckle curve with a wiffle ball. The knuckleball, kind of like the huddle in college football. That dying art. All right, last chance. You guys tell us what you're thinking about. Get your questions, comments in. We appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. Good discussions. Tuesday's best tomorrow, so get ready for that on the website. We give you a topic. You give us your two best examples of said topic, and hopefully we're able to link to a few things tomorrow. It is really weird. For those who work with web pages, the embedding feature was just like going, no. Well, why don't you try to convert it to a link? No, we can't do that. Well, what if you embed it like this? No. We're not going to do that. It's just nothing but code. So I went back and checked the back end, WordPress. I'm like, everything seems to be functioning properly, which is dangerous for me to ever, look on something. It's like me opening up the hood of a car. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, okay. There you go. Yes, a wonderful game we lose. Well, it's just like anytime I figure out, like one high level thing regarding website stuff or anything else, it's like something else. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, and now I can't do this. They changed something now. Oh, I can't do this now. Oh, you need this widget, and you need to install this line of code here. It's like Office Space. I always get one thing off in the code, just one little thing. Embedding feature is like trying to drag kids out of bed in the morning. Yeah, it's what it felt like. So I don't know. I tried it this afternoon, so if we get done with this, I'm going to see what it looks like. All right, you guys are good. We got to say goodbye first off to the wonderful people on Twitter and on YouTube. We appreciate you guys being out there. It asked us to end the stream. Yeah. Do you really want to end the stream? Yes.